example where those two guys right there, Darren Ing and Chris Warren, the shot clock was winding down. They just created space for themselves, and they were hot already, and they didn't need any space to get them off and knock them down.
Well, Darren Ing getting off to a good start in this game. 2 of 3 from the field, 66.7%, 1 of 1 from the 3 so far. But I've been impressed with Wollongong so far. They've looked very steady. Into Ubaka getting off to a good start in the game. Larry Davidson hitting a couple as well, and Oscar Foreman hitting that one from downtown. So I think it's a very even contest, which is displayed in the scoreline at 18 to Adelaide, 19 to Wollongong so far.
You know, Darren Ing wasn't playing a whole lot of minutes up until the last several weeks. He has just shot himself into some playing time as Chris Warren launches the 3-ball.
I think he's been affected by little niggling injuries throughout the course of the year and hasn't really been able to get into a flow. It's only when, I guess, you get a couple of weeks under your belt that you can really get into a flow like that.
Helliwell checks the shot clock, goes up with a little right hand soft bounce and gets a roll. And that'll do his confidence a wealth of good.
He's such a big body. And I would expect him to, against this slightly smaller lineup from Wollongong, to be able to go to work and just back his way in close to the bucket.
And Gruber, more of a role player that he's guarding. You know, probably not one to make him pay as far as being super aggressive off of the dribble. Good seal by Gruber and a handy move. Really froze Helliwell with that fake to the right.
And that's where Wollongong have the advantage at the other end. He is just a lot more mobile than Wade Halliwell, and if he can't get it in close to the bucket, he should take him out and start attacking him from 15 feet.
Darren Ing is fouled by Reese Martin. And I know, Brett, you're not supposed to foul the three-point shooter, but that three-point shooter is Darren Ing. If you don't get real good pressure on him, he will make it.
Yeah, he was caught out of position there, tried to jump across. I think he may have got Darren there a little bit, but Darren may have brought it to the umpire's attention a little bit more so.
Well, most shooters kind of have. I remember Rob Rose, when he shot, his feet would go extremely forward, and he would get clipped a lot on guys coming across them because his action, and I'm sure he would stick it out if he saw the guy coming even more.
I think it's accentuated. I think a lot of the shooters out there do stick the legs out to try and get some contact and get to the stripe, because it's obviously, for shooters, a pretty easy shot when you get to the stripe. So I know a lot of shooters that did do that, and it is a bit of a good tactic there to try and get to the line.
Well, Darren Ing has his number. He's got 8 points already as he continues to put the ball in the hole for the 36ers. Oscar Foreman from the corner. That just rims out. Bartlett to Mitch Creek going baseline. Tries to find Daniel Johnson as he got a little bit of a nudge and was going out of bounds. Ubaka with the hesitation. Extra pass goes to Matt Campbell, then to Oscar Foreman. One bounce dribble going left. They did the right thing, making him put it on the floor.
Oscar's been a little bit unlucky so far. Some really good looks for him.
Wade Helliwell getting a little creative on that footwork.
That looked a little bit like a David Stiff move from...
Yeah. David Stiff would have gotten away with that. I don't know how he used to... We used to break it down in slow motion, and he would make... Normally, anything you break down in slow motion is a travel, but his weren't.
He had all of the different step-through. It was a lot like Kevin McHale in a way, with the different step-through moves that he had, and it's a shame to see there's not a lot of guys that play basketball these days that down low have a lot of good post moves.
Saville catch and shoot from the wing. Davison does a good job of tipping it to a teammate in Matt Campbell. Gruber, look at Wade Helliwell just sagging into the paint. Get a running start at him, Dave. He yanks the three, and you see why they left him alone. They're the rebounds at the bottom of the screen. Hawks on top in that department. 4 assists each. And the turnovers. Mitch Creek with a pull-up. Helliwell with a push in the bank.
That's a nice shot there for Mitch Creek. He's not known for his outside shooting, but he caught in rhythm, was able to take a step into it. It actually looked quite good. I thought a pretty good chance of going in. Obviously, his best moves are slashing to the bucket, taking it hard to the rim, but nice little shot for Mitch Creek there.
Yeah, that's what you want him to shoot that, miss a couple, and not doubt himself, because that, I'm sure that felt good because it looked good. Ibaka bringing it up against Everard Bartlett. Ibaka still with the ball in his hands. He pulls up. A couple of his baskets, he's had it the whole 24 seconds.
He has bounced the air out of it. A couple of offenses so far. He's certainly held on to it a long time.
Creek to Way. Way is fouled by Larry Davison, set with himself for getting his hands caught in there.
Yeah, reaching in there. I think Steve Way was going to pass that one in the end. He may have got lucky. The referee has given him 2 shots. We'll see if he can make the most of that one.
Oscar Foreman comes in for Larry Davison. You know, Larry Davison just looks like he's moving better tonight, and he's had trouble with injuries this year.
He does. I was going to say he looked a little bit proppy at the start of the game, but as it's moved on, I think he's looking all right. He's hit 1 or 2 shots, so hopefully he can find a little bit of rhythm out here tonight. It is hard for the big guys, and a lot of them do get injuries because they've got such big limbs to be moving around, and they just seem to get injured a lot. And I think that's where Adelaide's had probably a good run with Daniel Johnson this year. He's had a good run without any injury, and as you look around, big guys do fall down reasonably regularly.
Way slide nose feet. Gruber gets it to Ibaka. This is what Wollongong didn't have until into Ibaka came. Somebody could create something out of nothing. Conrad's got to get one up in the air. Doesn't hit the rim. But Darren Ings got it.
It certainly helps any offense if you can have a guy that is willing to put his head in the noose and just get in there, draw the defense and open it up. Good foul there by Oscar Foreman. Guaranteed 2 points for Diamond Simpson. He's come over, put him to the line, whereas we have seen he will probably give 1 out of 2.
Well, anytime he ought to be considering, well, I guess you don't want him to rush it and miss shots, but yeah, they put him to the line and make him earn it. So Wollongong does what they have to do, but they're down by 2. 25-23 here in the second.
Boys and girls are different. That's why only Huggies nappies have tailored absorbency with a unique surge layer where they need it most, in the front for boys and lower down for girls. Huggies nappies, because there is a difference.
Welcome back. Gordy McLeod talking to his troops there in this timeout. I caught up with Gordy before the game, and I asked him what will they do with their defense to try and limit Adelaide's 3-point shooting.
Well, you've got to, your trans-D's got to be good, and you got to know where the shooters are, and you just got to try and get a hand on them. I mean, once they start getting hot, they're very capable of hurting anyone. But when they get to that, we can't give them catches. You got to take that away. But last time we played, it was inside and it was on the glass. So we got to do a good job of that and also look after the ball really well tonight.
Well, Wollongong are spreading their scoring around, that's for sure. Tyson DeMoss with 2, Ibaka 6, Foreman 3, Larry Davison 5, Conrad 3, and Dave Gruber with 2. So guys have come into the game and made their mark as Diamond Simpson hits that front of the rim again. He's going to wear the paint off of that thing.
And they're talking about the defense there. I think Wollongong have done a pretty good job on Adelaide shooters so far. They're only 1 of 3 from outside the arc. That one was hit by Darren Ing early in the game. So they are finding the shooters very well so far in the game, and we'll see if that stands up for the full 40 minutes.
Ubaka.
Just jerked at that one at the end of the shot. He pulled the hand away on the end of that one, but
yeah, he did. Looked like he snatched that hand down a little too quick. He can get a little jerky with that thing.
Oh, not really anywhere that Tim Conrad could have gone there. That's just unfortunate when the guy falls over right in front of you.
And Conrad just, we can't see what he's saying, but he's shaking his head like, what was I supposed to do on that one?
Little dive roll.
I didn't knock him over. I tried to get out of his way. Well, you sure don't like it. See, you know, the worst thing about a foul like that would be if you were real hot and that was your third foul.
Yeah.
And you had to go sit down.
I got told the other day I only fouled out of one game in my whole career, so I didn't. I guess you don't get too many fouls when you don't play defense.
Oh, you guys play D. You know, I think a lot of that is knowing your situation. Darren Ing is going to the line for, let's see, it's just two shots. Tyson Demos just going aggressively as he was trailing that one.
Another one there where Darren Ing's thrown the legs out and really drawn the attention towards it. I think it might have been a slight foul. Tyson Demos may have just collected him, but that offense was very well run there. Darren Ing came off about 3 or 4 screens to get him that little light of day to get him shooting, and he is shooting reasonably well tonight. 2 of 3, 9 points.
Had that one use a bit of the rim. Normally a Darren Ing free throw just straight through.
And the difference between that free throw and Diamond Simpson's free throw hitting the front of the ring is that it's actually come in with a bit more height on it, so it's had the chance to bounce up and go in, whereas Diamond's is coming straight onto the ring and it's got absolutely no chance of bouncing up and in.
Conrad to Ubaka to Saville. Patented baseline jumper from Saville doesn't go. Ing sees a little daylight. Boy, he has got the green light. Saville in the open court. You people really hit the floor hard.
You both jumping for the ball. We had the ball. No, you didn't have the ball. I would have had the ball. Oi!
I think Saville's got a point.
Yeah, harsh when 2 guys fall over in front of you, take your legs out, and you lose control of the ball. There's not much else he could have done there.
Especially if it happened to Tim Conrad, because he got one
at the other end.
At the other end.
Screens here now, stationary screens. No holding on cutters. Screens.
Creek to Darren Ing. He's got Tyson Demos wearing him like a glove. Bartlett with a couple of fakes and a jump hook over the top. Diamond Simpson on the oak glass. He's stripped by Tim Conrad. Players on the floor. Great hustle.
Both teams.
Demos with the sidestep. That's got to be a block or a charge or something.
You would think there should be some sort of call. It's certainly disadvantaged the offense.
Straight up defense. Contact wasn't straight down his middle. It's the only reason why it wasn't a charge.
Well, if it's not a charge, it's contact, and it affects his shot.
Make sure we don't hold here now, Darren.
I don't know. We've said it. It should be something.
Yeah, it was a tough one. Darren, it looked like he had his feet planted. He got hit on the side, which makes a charge hard to call. There was certainly contact, and I think the offense would have been hard done by if it was a charge. Maybe could have got away with 2 free throws there.
Clean here, clean here.
Ubaka gets the inbound. Gruber back to Ubaka.
Straight, 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 straight.
Demos It's Conrad as he streaks to the hoop. Nice finish by Tim Conrad.
Yeah, nice drive there, wasn't it? He got himself ready to go. Just took it hard. Darren Ings slips over on the wet spot from a couple of minutes earlier.
Little humidity happening. There's a lot of humidity happening all around Australia. And Sydney's seen its fair share of rain, that's for sure, and the Gold Coast as well. Going there, it's like cutting the humidity with a knife. So when guys fall down, even the floor wipers having difficulty getting all that dampness off the floor.
Still wet on the floor there. The guys are having a bit of trouble. It's certainly been hot here in Adelaide. There's been a lot going on with the Fringe. There's been a couple of music festivals on as well, plus the Clipsal 500, the V8s going around, and I heard I think they were F-14s flying overhead today, and jeepers, do they make a loud noise.
Yeah, definitely tough to get a hotel room in Adelaide this weekend. You know, I've been told by the guy that checked us in at the hotel, this is the biggest weekend of the year with all this going on.
Yeah, there's the Soundwave Music Festival on, which is very big. There was a lot of people walking around there going to that tonight.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of tight black jeans and tattoos happening there.
There was a lot of mullets, I believe.
Darren Ing, as you back on in. Johnson on the rip through is fouled by Glenn Saville. Boy, Daniel Johnson, that's a smaller Glenn Saville on him. On that rip through, he is hard to contain.
There's not too many guys in the league at the moment that can contain Daniel Johnson when he's ripping that ball through or doing a quick spin move in the post. But Wollongong already into the bonus, or not already. There's only 3 minutes to go, but Adelaide only on 1 foul as opposed to Wollongong on 5.
Neither team just lighten the scoreboard up. As Wollongong sitting on 25 with 3 minutes to go in the second. Well, the uniforms are a different color, but yeah, there was a couple of low numbers last night in the first half, and Sydney Gruber goes upstairs, misses another layup.
Both teams have missed some really easy sitters there so far in this game.
Simpson on a nice dish from Stephen Way. Started his ball in Perth after a short stint at the University of Utah, same school that Andrew Bogut went to. Blocked by Diamond Simpson.
Nice block there by Diamond Simpson. Caught out of position there against Gruber, but was able to get those long arms up and get a block. As we see the Wollongong Hawks call a timeout.
Yeah, Wollongong with the timeout after they forced the turnover, see an opportunity to get themselves back in a huge possession for Wollongong as Matt Flynn, Eric Cooks, and Gordy McLeod talk things over.
As it's the shooting percentages have been fairly average tonight, in close and outside. Adelaide shooting it at 33.3%, Wollongong at 34.5%. By no means setting the rims on fire tonight.
Speaking of Gordy McLeod before the game, you know, this is a guy that coached for Singapore, coached West Sydney. You know, he's done a great job, and he's done a great job in Wollongong as well. Well, he's got some decisions to make in the offseason, as we have spoken about. His team, his personnel, his choice of imports, his core group probably is what everybody has been questioning, whether it's time to move away from the core group that he's had.
There's a lot of guys that are approaching retirement, and he's going to lose some key players. If it's not this year, it'll probably be next year in Matt Campbell and Glenn Saville. So that is going to make a big dent there. He has done an exceptional job in his coaching career of teams that probably you wouldn't think have had as much talent as some of the other teams going around, extracting as much as he can out of that when he's coaching West Sydney early on. He's coaching New Zealand, Singapore. I think he's done an excellent job there. Probably his only team where he's had championship capability was when he was at West Sydney, when he had a very good lineup there with Simon Dwight, Sam McKinnon, John Riley, when they came here and played against us in the grand final, and we beat them in 3. But other than that, he's certainly played with a lot of under-talented teams and got a lot out of them.
Yeah, so he does a good job when he's got the horses and when he is limited. As Daniel Johnson on the rip-through loses a handle, spins, going to the baseline. Conrad gets the stop. It was more like Johnson just missed because he got himself open.
Tough little floater, though, off the spin. He certainly hasn't hit his straps as yet. 2 of 8 from the field for Daniel Johnson. He'll be looking to light it up going into the second half.
Tyson Demos caught that thing in rhythm. And the way he plays D, he's knocking down those shots from the perimeter. Got an offensive foul going the other way. Marty Clark wants a timeout. He doesn't like what he sees. As Marty Clark gets that, and I'm sure it had something to do with Adelaide just looking a little erratic on the last couple of possessions. And I'm sure he wants to fine-tune some of the things that they need to do to finish this half out.
Not the shot Adelaide needed there, was it? Going early in the offense. The defense had him covered pretty much from the top of the key. Not what Adelaide needed. They needed to pull it out, run a set. It's just a sense that Wollongong are starting to get a little bit of momentum there. Marty's probably trying to stop that with that shot by Tyson Demos in the corner.
Tyson Demos, we've said it on a number of occasions, a very tenacious defender. If he could just be a knockdown shooter, which I think he's got the capability of doing, he came into the league from the AIS and with that type of reputation has done the hard work on the defensive end and is a solid defender, one of those pesky guys you sure don't want on you. But I think because so much energy goes on the defensive end that his shot has suffered a little bit. And once he balances those out, he is going to be a solid NBL performer.
I definitely think so. I think there's room for him to elevate his game up and be around the same level as, well, what he should aspire to is getting to someone like Adam Gibson, that is tenacious, similar body type, that strong body type that can get all over and physically intimidate players at the defensive end, but still be able to knock down the 3 as well.
Gets it up against Stephen Way, gets it to Ubaka. Minute to go here till halftime. Ubaka with a mismatch of Johnson on him. Johnson gloves it.
Good defense there by Daniel Johnson. He just stood off him a little bit, but had that arm length away that he could still intimidate the shot and was able to, when Ayinde drew level with him, still get up and block that shot.
Johnson getting to the middle on a smaller Gruber. Warren to Johnson. Contact, no call. Crowd wanted a foul.
I think he may have been unlucky there. The defense may have been completely upright, and that's what obviously the referees thought, but going towards the basket like that, I think he was a little unlucky.
Conrad steps into his jump shot. Gruber on the offensive glass. Conrad with another look, gets it to Matt Campbell. Demos eventually shoots that.
Could have got a better shot in their offense.